Hello all, and welcome to my messy shop. And I figured it's been a while since I did an update on the Lost in Space B9 robot, and I got quite a bit. I made a lot of progress since the last time. At least I think it's a lot of progress for me. So I thought, okay, you know what, it's time now, and it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an update for you and show you where I'm at on the Lost in Space B9 robot. So let me turn the camera around to the bench and I'll show you what's going on. 1 second, I'll be back. Okay, and here we are at the bench. As you can see back here, I've got these parts, which are probably 99% of the parts, all painted. So that I didn't have done the last time. I didn't have any painting done, but they're all painted now. And here's the torso. And I did this. I'm doing the season 2 and 3 robot. And so inside here you'll see that is done in a darker gray. Actually, it's done in a Tamiya metallic gray. So that's in metallic gray. And what I didn't actually realize was that the robots from the first and second season were different as far as color scheme goes. So in the oh, I'm sorry, I just bumped the camera big time. So because I've been moving around here. So in the first season, this area of the chest was just the same flat aluminum color that the rest of the robot was. And also the grippers, and I have these, this is just a set of the grippers here. The grippers in the first season were flat aluminum. In the second and third season, they are red. So I'm making mine red. And this is just one set. There's another set over on my sticky thing here. So this is for season 2. The bottom piece, this is the bottom piece. I have the clear plastic in, and there's supposed to be some photo etch behind this. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to use that or not, because all it does is it makes the inside a little bit more busy. And you know, I couldn't even find it here. Before I started this video, I was looking for it, and I couldn't really. I just found it. Let me see if I can't hold it in there so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the photo etch that's supposed to go in there. And again, my lighting is horrible. So I've already pre-bent this. So when you see this is supposed to lay in here, actually get glued in here. And it doesn't really make a lot of difference in the way this looks. So I'm not sure if I'm going to actually use this photo etch or not. I'll decide that. I've got time to do that. So this piece goes onto the torso, and I am going to have some issues with the torso not being round, but that's okay because I plan on making this torso round and then clamping this base to it, making sure it's all cemented and all glued up, and that'll keep it round so that the top piece will set nicely on top of the torso. Now I am going to not glue this piece on. What I plan to do is I plan to use magnets to hold this on. And that's only because if anything would go wrong with the electronics I'm putting in, I want easy or fairly easy access to the electronics. So that way I can just pop this top off and have access to electronics. At least that's my goal. Because, and I've showed you this in other videos, this is the lighting package that I built. I built this one myself, and that goes in here like that. And there's a clear plastic insert that goes in there, and I don't have that setting in there properly right now. Okay, so that'll go in there. And then I made myself a speaker mount, which I was working on in my last video. I cut the grooves in it here to fit the ribbing on the back of the torso, and that this will then get mounted here in the back wall of the torso, so that it has a speaker up in the torso, and it'll be, so you know, that's where you'll hear the sound coming from. So that'll be going up into the torso, and this is ready to, I mean, this is all ready to go. I'm ready to actually start assembling a lot of this, and that's another reason why I wanted to do this video this time. Now, as far as the power pack goes, the power pack on this side, I drilled this out to fit a magnet, and let me find it. I was detailing the torso. I'm sorry, I was detailing the power pack. I'm in the process of doing that. So here's the power pack, and again, I'm detailing that right now. It's nowhere near finished yet, and I just put that coat of paint on it. But behind this, I mounted a magnet, and that magnet will then go right into this hole as such. But behind the magnet is going to be, let me stick that back on here just because the paint's a little wet yet. Behind the magnet is going to be this little guy here, and this is a magnetic reed switch. So that'll be mounted inside here, somewhere inside here. Get my big fingers out of the way. Somewhere inside of there, so that when the magnet goes in, this will actually hold the power pack in place, but it'll also complete the circuit to the power supply to energize the robot. So that's the torso plan for now. I have the feet assembled and painted, and these side panels go on yet, and I did the pulleys in chrome the way they're actually done. So that'll go on, that'll get mounted in here as such. That'll get all glued on. But underneath is where I'm going to. Now underneath here, I made some modifications here. I added in here a couple of magnets. Now, unfortunately, while I was painting all this and stuff, this magnet fell off, so I got to replace that. But that's to hold on the base plates, so that I can just paint the base plates in there, and they'll be held on with magnets. Again, I want access to the electronics. Because if you look inside here, I have, and I don't have my pointer handy here, I have in here, I mounted some channel and some I-beam on this side and on this side. And I've used those for card guides. So that, like this is the MP3 player. And the MP3 player will go in to the card guide. My hands are in the way again. The MP3 player goes into card guide and gets slid in there, and that'll just get slid in there to be held in place. And it's tight, and that's what I wanted. The two microprocessors, which are the Arduino micros, will also get mounted in those channels with the USB ports sticking out to the front so I can access them with the computer if needed. And the same with this with the MP3 player. This is a micro SD card reader which will be facing front so that I can replace the MP3 card. So that's all ready to go, and all the wiring will then get fed up inside. I'm sorry, I'm off camera more than I'm on. Inside and come up through the legs, which will get glued on to there, and it'll come up through the legs and then up into the torso. So that's that. On this side will be mounted the power supply, and this is the power supply. It's my homemade power supply. It takes a 9-volt battery, which is a high energy battery, which will also get mounted inside the leg, and then the power supply gets slid in also to these channels and wired into the rest of the robot field. So that's ready to go. Now on the feet, this door up in the front, this was originally used for the soil sampler. So there was a door on here, and the door would open this way, and then out an arm would come out of this and for soil sampling. So I took some liberty and I said, well, I'm not having a soil sampler. I'm going to keep this open. I may put a clear plastic cover on there, but behind this, up inside, I am going to be mounting this guy. And that is an IR, an infrared receiver. And that's where I can then select what sound and what voice I want coming out of the robot. So that's going to get mounted up in there, because naturally this has to be seen by the outside world. All right, so that's the feet. So that's pretty much ready to go also. Let's see here. I showed you the power pack. Oh, I'm sorry, I keep bumping this camera. This is what they call the programming bay. And this programming bay gets mounted in this bottom piece, and it gets mounted in here. Again, I have to watch because I was detailing this and some of that paint is still wet. So that gets mounted up in here, and then there's a glass, one of these panels that go in here that slide across back and forth for that. But also in here I made some modifications to this. The modifications are, I added these. I am terrible at holding the camera here. I don't know if we can see them there, maybe. I added these 4 holes. And these 4 holes are going to have mounted behind them. Each one of those holes is going to have one of these 08, 05 LEDs mounted. And there'll be an amber one, a green one, a blue one, and a red one. And all I'm planning to do is get it up in there, get it up inside there, and maybe a little bit of Mod Podge on the back just to hold them in place. But they'll just set right in there so that they're visible from the outside world. And what they're there for is they're actually a part of my design of the system. So one of them is going to be an indicator that I have 5 volts, which the main circuitry operates on. Another one is going to indicate that I have 3.3 volts, which is what the MP3 player works on. Another one is going to be the ready light. Now the sound card has a ready light that says, okay, I'm ready to go, and that comes on. And then there's another indicator off the sound card that says busy, so that when it's talking or when the sound is being produced, that indicator lights and it produces an indicator that tells you, hey, the MP3 card is busy. So those will be up in the front there. All right, let's see. The other thing then is the brain, which you've all seen if you looked at my other videos. The brain and the finger lights that are underneath the brain. So I have all the wiring finally coming through. That's going to get together similar to that. I have all the wiring coming down, and it took me a while because I had to separate all this out, because some of these wires come from the brain and some of these wires come from the fingers, and so they're all separated out. I have them all labeled. I have them all labeled down here as to where they then go on this guy. So this is actually ready to be assembled. The only reason I didn't assemble this yet is because well, first of all, I need the top half of the bubble on it, but secondly, I'm not sure if I want to put a plastic tube on those wires for gluing purposes. I haven't decided that yet. All right, so that's where we are with that. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel for this project finally, and once I get to that point, you know, it's hopefully going to go together quite quickly. Now, the other thing that I didn't show you was this. I had to modify this piece. This piece is for the mouth, and that gets mounted up in here. There is a clear plastic piece that goes in here. If you're familiar with the B9, that blinks red with the voice of the robot. So in order to mount that, what I'm using for the light, and I may change my mind on this yet, but what I'm using for the light is a NeoPixel, which is a programmable LED array. And it is working. I just don't know if it's going to fill the mouth area light-wise. But I built this little bracket thing to mount up underneath here. And this will get mounted up underneath here to hold that NeoPixel in place. And so you can see that I have it. The NeoPixel will come through this hole, and then it gets mounted by these two screws going through there. So I'm gonna wait till I get most of this thing put together before I try it again. Also back here, if you've noticed, I have this clamped. Oh crap. That was one of my typical... Sorry about that. That was one of my typical Rube Goldbergs. Anyway, this is the neck, and it survived that crash. Fortunately, it tells me that it was glued. It tells me it was glued well, at least, and that gets mounted. Those wiring go down through that hole, and then that gets mounted on there. So that's and this gets put on top of. That gets put on top of the body here, top of the torso, like that. So, all right. So even though that was a disaster waiting to happen, it didn't happen. So that's all good. Anyway, I don't even know where my microphone is here. Okay, so I was gonna reshoot the video, but you know what? It's actually okay. I mean, I'm not a professional here. Anyway, everything survived, including me. Everything survived. The camera survived. Every part on the robot survived. So that's what happens when you got a really messy workbench. You get a lot of Rube Goldbergs occur, and you just witness one. So I really should clean up my bench. It's on me. Anyway, I just wanted to close this video out because I'm sorry. I'm still like can't believe that happened, but. Anyway, I want to close this video out, and folks, if you like it, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, smack that subscribe button, because it helps the hobby. It really does. So I'm waiting for something else to happen. So anyway, hey. Again, if you like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Take care, everybody, and may God bless.